What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Here we are today, another happy Sunday with Dirk and Alex, and we're going to talk about, we're just going to dive right into the topic. You know how we like to do it. We just start. If you're not here on time, well, then you can catch up. All right? Because it's how I run my meetings at work. We start on time. I'm not going to be the guy that says, oh, let's wait 5 minutes for everybody to log into the Zoom. No. Let's just get started and get going. So today we want to talk about getting scammed, how to not get scammed, maybe, how to listen to your gut.
Maybe.
Alex has a very personal story that we're going to talk about because it can and will happen to anybody. It just does.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. With as many knives or watches and it's not really just a knife thing. Knives, watches, baseball cards, football cards, cards, you name it, any collectible thing, there's going to be scumbags out there that are just going to be scumbags.
Yep.
I don't know how else to put it, really.
Yep.
So down in the comments, you guys, if anybody's watching either live or after the fact, let us know, has anything like this ever happened to you? Have you ever been scammed? Have you ever had that gut feeling? And why did you have the gut feeling? Because I think this is really a good topic. This is really educational.
Mm-hmm.
Other viewers can maybe read your story, what made you feel like you were going to get scammed and what you did about it, because that might help them. Alex and I are not experts. Things happen, but I think it's a community thing. And if we all talk about it, we all share a story or a little snippet, it might just help somebody else. Maybe. But on that note, let's jump over to Alex and let's hear a little bit about the saga that I'm aware of, but we want to share with everybody so they can, again, it's education and a learning thing.
Well, I'm not going to say it's, inherently fun to share that I got ripped off, right? Like, nobody wants to admit that, but
it's not. And I give you a lot of credit. And I think in full transparency here, this was Alex's idea for the topic today to share the story. So kudos to you for coming on live TV, so to speak, and open up about it.
Well, yeah, because, I don't want that obviously to happen to other people if I can help prevent, right? And there's a lot of signs and things, and, and this was a long hunt. Like, I've hunted for rare knives before. I have a ZT 777.
You do, and I've had the honor of handling it.
I have a ZT, what's that other one with the zipper blade looking thing? The 14, whatever, the Sinkovich. I like some really like knives that would compared to the knife that I was actually hunting for this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Those knives are like big boy stuff. And this was a damn Microtech. Now, the fact that this was a Microtech was probably the whole start of the problem right there.
Well, and to be fair, when you were hunting the 777, that was years back. And I think the community was different back then. So there was maybe less scammers out there. I don't know. But the timing could have played into it as well.
Well, yeah. And, so even more so, when you get something gimmicky, right? And I'm a sucker for gimmick stuff. I think you are too.
Yep.
And I saw that they made a Ghostbusters edition combat Troodon. I immediately said, oh my God, I have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I never bought a combat Troodon prior because I was saving that space in my collection for the follow-up other piece to my John Wick, right?
Okay, yeah.
He has the Ultratech, and then he has the Combat Troodon, the Marfion custom, right? So, but when I saw this, and I saw the freaking thing glows in the dark with the slime and like the
Right.
colors and everything, it just brought me back to the 80s to some of my favorite actors like Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, like the first one, right? And the
Yeah,
second
Bill
one,
Murray. Like it just
Murray.
was great.
It was so funny and everything. Like even the graphics for the time, because I remember watching that. I was around those times, obviously, and I saw it on TV.
Yep.
And it was just like kind of mind blowing. It was really cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, the Ghostbusters theme has been a thing that people have always loved. So you take
Right.
that and you mix it with a huge crowd of knife collectors, especially the Microtech crowd,
Yep.
and
Huge
you
following.
put these things together, and you're definitely in for what I would say is a mix of chaos when going to try to buy one. So I decided I was going to go buy one. I went up and I started kind of hunting around. What's up, EDC? Kind of hunting around looking for a baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, so the baseline price I was finding on these things, first I saw what the sale price was. Looks like at the dealers they're about 650, right?
Okay.
Like 635 or whatever. And then on the secondary and the groups and stuff, I was seeing about 850 to 750. And then some of the heavy hitters I knew pretty well, like which were guaranteed like good deals,
Mm-hmm.
not money wise, but transaction wise, was about 1050. I saw a
Okay.
lot of 1050s. I saw one 1150, and I saw a lot of other stuff. And that's the other stuff that was the funny stuff. Remember, I showed you, I saw one at like $420, right? So I
Right.
was buying with this guy, and I say, "Why so cheap?" And he would tell me, "Well, it's a user." I'm like, "Doesn't look like a user,
It's a
right?"
user that just came out last week, but
Yeah.
okay, you've used the hell out of it in what,
So
4 days?
so actually, you're right. I should give some time for perspective. The knife came out probably about 2 to 2.5 months, roughly,
Mm-hmm.
prior to me going and hunting for one, right?
Right.
And then you guys are going to hear my daughter maybe laughing in the background because I think she's about to take a bath, so ignore that. But
It's all good.
anyways, so moving forward, we got kind of a baseline price, and then
Yep.
now I'm starting to hit by scammers. Uh, that was the suspicious hint number one. If it's too cheap, then it's probably not true. That was one thing. I saw a lot of those.
Right.
That same user thing, I saw that probably about 3 times out of like maybe like 25 people that hit me up.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I would see is this one's a big red flag is when, hey man, I got the knife you want. Here's all my vouchers. And then he posts pictures of all his vouchers. I got that one a lot too.
Right.
And then you see like these random like forums or groups that are like, dude, there was one where the guy had like belonged to a group of Pakistani made knives. And this guy's like talking about doing a transition on a Microtech knife. And like, I don't know. You got to be dumb.
Right.
Like, like,
Red flag.
yeah. And I saw so many things,
Yes.
and I literally shopped for this knife for about a month and a half, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
every day or every other day, I'm kind of like scoping around, seeing what changed, if any new knives are up, anything like that. Constantly getting hit up for 6 weeks. I will tell you this, I got major fatigue from searching this stupid fucking knife, because I got cheap and I'm like, I should have just paid $10.50 and be done with it.
Right.
But I'm like, I want a deal, you know, like I don't want I don't want like the knife for $6.50 what it's sold for. I get it. Let me see if I can find it for like $8.50, right? Something like that. So I just kind of hung in there and this and that, and then you know, eventually this one dude hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I got the knife that you want. I can't send you any pictures because it's in the mail on its way to me, and I want to buy something else." So I kind of laughed and I said, "Hey, dude, you know what? Like, why don't you hit me up when you actually have it in your hand?" And I'm like, I'm just gonna buy something else if I see it, you know, like, to be fair. So, because he kind of asked me, "Can I count on you buying this knife?" And I said, "No." I'm like, "Not until it's in your hand," kind of thing. And so,
but just to be fair, that does happen. That alone isn't a total scammer deal, because I know my brother has actually sold knives the day that he's gotten them, because
no, I
he's
didn't.
already kind of so
You're right.
That can happen. You do buy something, it's coming to you. You've decided over the time of shipping it to you that you didn't necessarily want it anymore. So that alone is okay, but I would not have bought it until the dude got it the next day, the day after, nor would I have committed.
And nor did I think he was necessarily a scammer. I believe that's a plausibility, right? Like, but I just like, well, what am I going to wait a week, 2 weeks? What if I find like even a better deal tomorrow? Now I'm stuck with this guy. So like, I just wanted to let him know, like, hey, if you get the knife, hit me up, but I'm still keeping my freedom to go buy some from somebody else if something good comes along. So I didn't want him to have any false, you know, like expectations.
Which is fair.
So I move on, and then I get tagged by some dude in this website, or on, I put an ice in search of in all the Microtech posts, and I get tagged a few times by some guy that says, "Hey, check out my buddy's store," or whatever. And there's one called the Knife Center. And then I'm like, "Oh, the Knife Center has one." I'm like, "Fuck. Maybe they just got a late shipment, right? The Knife Center." So I click on it, and then I go and I look at the picture, and I'm like, "Wait a minute. That's not the Knife Center. Like, where's the orange logo and the whatever, right?"
Different Knife Center.
Yeah. So I'm like, huh. So I go on his group and I start scrolling down and I start seeing Rough Rider knives. I'm like, And then I scroll down some more and I see in the same setting some Rockstead knives. And then I'm seeing some other knives around that price range, right? Like, crazy. And then I keep scrolling down. I see Todd Garrett's in this group. You know Todd Garrett, right? Like one of the guys. I see like, what's up, Mr. Luck Knives? He got a shout out on Joe X's video today. I heard his
Joe X left the community.
He's back. Yeah, he got all his guns back and everything.
I don't know. Again, like I think I said last live, I don't even know who the freaking guy is, nor do I care. So whatever.
But so anyways, yeah, pretty much long story short, I did a reference on this guy. His group had like a bunch of familiar names that I saw.
I'm talking about.
And then you know, so I used that as kind of like my reference. The guy talked to me and, you know, gave me his PayPal address. The PayPal popped right up as you know, like a legit name and everything. I did an Instagram search on the guy. I found his page. I found followers like 1,600, which doesn't mean much because you can buy them, but maybe, right? And then So I did a lot of searching on this guy, and eventually I sent him money. I said, okay, you know what? I'm so fucking over it. Like, I gotta like at least start, because Dirk knows I was insane, bro. I was like micro, like checking every picture, word, everything, like FBI style.
Sending me
Like,
screenshots. I was
yeah,
looking
like
at
I'm like, what do you
stuff.
think of
We
this?
were like researching, like, and I thought we were doing a good job.
I thought I was, and then it got to the point where like I felt like I was maybe overdoing it,
Right.
right? Like that's how I started feeling. I'm like, okay, dude, like at some point you're gonna have to send your money to somebody and
Right.
trust somebody, right? Like I blew off at least 20, 25 people.
Oh, for sure.
So eventually, because this guy had his own group with people that I kind of knew,
Mm-hmm.
and a few of them, I'm like, maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So I did it. Long story short, I never got the knife. Oh, no, no, no. I shouldn't cut the shipping part out at all.
No, no, no. Keep going.
No,
Like,
no, no,
so you
no.
send him your money.
I sent him the money, and then here's where it's actually funny and ironic. Because I haven't used PayPal for like over like 6 or 8 months on like big transactions,
Right.
um, they sent it as an e-check, which means the
Mm.
damn thing got hung up for 7 days.
Yep.
7 days, this scammer is waiting for his money to clear.
Right.
And, you know, it finally clears, and the guy's like, okay, no problem. So he actually sends me a link of a shipping company, which legitimately pulls up. It's a .com, pulls up a shipping company, but I call the phone number and it was some other random person's telephone, you know. And then I'm starting to get worried. I'm like, okay, this is fucking sketchy. So then I get an email from the shipping company, actually two, one with like a printed label. It says Ghostbusters Combat Troodon. It says the value $700. It says like pretty much everything on there is broken down, and it's got a barcode on it. And then when you use the tracking number on that barcode one, I kind of like closed everything out, typed in the website in Google, put the tracking number in there to see if it worked, and it
Right.
fucking worked. It pulled it right up, same
Right.
thing. I'm like, okay. So then I get an email from the shipping company, and it says, hey, we have received your knife, but we need $350 from you because the shipper has paid for the shipping but has not paid for the insurance of the knife. The shipping of the insurance is
Spidey senses. Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
more. There's more. The
There's
shipping
always more.
the shipping of because we reimburse you double the value of the knife if lost in shipping, we require you to put a 25% deposit, which will be refunded to you when you receive your knife, right? At this point, I'm completely fucked. I lost my money. I already know I got had, and there's no fucking way I'm sending this guy another damn penny. Like, I'm
Right.
like, that's it.
Full
So
stop.
I
Done.
done. Like, you got me. Like, I get
Mm-hmm.
it now. So I kind of turn around to him. I say, like, hey man, I don't know like what your deal is, but you said free shipping. And
Right.
free shipping means you said
Free shipping.
$700, and it also says $700 shipped. I'm like, $700 ship doesn't add $350. He's like, oh, well, I don't know what I can do about that. You know, that's the shipping company. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll send him 150. You send him 200. I'm like, big fuck you. I'm not doing that either. Like, there's no way.
No.
And then he
No, no, no,
tells
no,
me,
no.
oh, I'm so sorry. My wife is sick in the hospital And I'm a good working Christian man, businessman, and he spent time writing pages of bullshit. Like him and I interacted a lot, even after the fact, because I think it was Friday. I sent him like I hope you get what you deserve, you piece of shit, or whatever.
I don't get it. That's a good point, Doug. I think we might have lost Alex, or we lost me. Yeah, no way he just copied and pasted that. I'm sure he's got canned stuff. I think we lost Alex. But he'll be back. He's frozen. But while he's away, he'll be back. Yeah, it's somebody had talked about EDC deal or no deal up in the comments here, Larry Blocker. Yes, that's a great option as well to do some research. But again, it's just Facebook. Not everybody is on Facebook. So we have to kind of, just because they're not on Facebook doesn't mean they're a scammer. I have a lot of friends that just aren't on Facebook. So that is one option to check EDC deal or no deal. EDC for Fun says, I don't know if I could buy a high-end knife on the secondary without knowing the seller. That's a great point. I think a lot of it turns out to be what price point. And we'll get back to Alex's story when he gets back on. Don't worry. We're going to tell you how this ends up because you want to stick around for the ending. Depending on the price of the knife is where I draw the line if I don't know the person, But yes, when I'm buying like full-on high-end, full dress customs like the King Battle, I mean, I was very good friends with the person I bought it from. I met him in person. We've hung out and things like that. So this was not a big deal. I just sent the PayPal, no big deal. But yeah, you want to know the person that is selling it, or let's say they know me and you know me. Well, then maybe I can broker that deal a little bit with that person that you don't know so that it's kind of like you know them.
Swear word overload, huh?
I don't know. So Alex is back. We kind of filled in some time while you were there. Let's see if I had any other messages I met. Oh, at least he's smiling in the freeze frame.
Oh, nice.
And then you got Bangkok Mark down here, who I don't know how he functions without Facebook or Instagram. I don't know if I'm jealous of that or if I think he's a weirdo. Like, I'm not sure I'm not sure where to go with that. I think realistically I'm more jealous because you don't even want to know my screen time stuff. Like that iPhone sends me a thing every Sunday morning of my screen time. I'm not even going to admit how many hours a day I'm on my phone and what I'm doing on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to go to the grave with me.
Yep. That's one of those things.
So Alex is back. He sent the guy $700 for the knife. The shipping company wanted $350. The guy said, I'll pay him $150. You pay him $200. Alex told him basically to F off. And I think that's where we kind of were.
Yeah. And then, it turned into the whole like, oh, my wife is in the hospital now. I have to go and, this and that. And let's just say kind of terminated. And
that was doesn't know Facebook or Instagram either. Did I know that?
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that about Dennis, EDC for Fun. I did not know that.
So, yeah, I got had, But funny, ironic thing of this whole story, too, is the guy who said, hey, I have one coming, hits me up, like, hey, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it? I'm like, send it. And I eventually did end up getting one. So, yeah. That is.
There you go.
There's the Combat Troodon Ghostbusters. That's a really cool theme. I really love like the whole yellow and black with the ghost traps, and the slime on it actually glows in the dark, which is really neat, and it's typical Microtech action.
Yeah, and they did one with a serrated edge also, correct?
Correct. It's got both. It's a combo edge. It's got
serrated on
and
one side and straight on the other, I think.
Yep, serrated on. Yep. So really, really cool. I mean, this brings me back to my childhood days, and yeah, I was really, really excited to get one of those things. So I got screwed, but in the end, I got one anyways. So yeah.
Which is fortunate, right? This was a limited edition sprint run, whatever you want to call it, production knife. It's not like he could never get another one again. It wasn't like somebody scammed me out of a one-off custom and you can't just get it back again, right? So at least you had options to get from somebody else.
Yeah. But I
If it
think
wasn't for buying and selling knives, Luck wouldn't have Facebook either. Maybe I'm just the weird old guy that yeah, never mind. We're not going to talk about that. We already said my screen time we're not talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I think maybe this is probably a good time to segue into how not to get scammed, like some of the things that, could have prevented it. I already know a few off the top of my head. Like I said, like the big one for me was the fatigue. Like getting tired of once you feel that way, you need to just kind of stop and back off. But then there's a Ghostbusters movie coming, right? Like this year. And I'm like, dude, as soon as that movie comes out, those mother effers are gonna go for like triple.
Right.
So I'm like, now's the time to really get one because I want to have one to keep and enjoy one, not really to like flip,
Yep.
So
Deadlock says he picked up one from NC Blade.
Yeah,
NC Blade is a great guy. Brandon, he is awesome, dude. Him and his wife, they run that thing. They are
very, very cool. I've bought multiple knives from NC Blades, and it's a great place to go shopping for your knives. Now, in my case, the reason why I didn't get mine from NC Blades was because of the fact that I was late to the party. I didn't even find out these came out till like about a month and a half after they did.
Right.
So, or else I would have totally bought one from, like a place like NC Blades. This is kind of the situation you find yourself in if you either procrastinate when they come out, which I've done before, and I've paid more afterwards. I have a couple knives like that in there. Or you just, you miss the flyer. And I'm not as big. I don't surf the knife world as much as I used to lately. So I kind of am late to the party on a lot of stuff, but I definitely wanted one. And, just remember, like Dirk said, a lot of times you can kind of wait and hang around and these things will surface again. Even like hard to find knives, I find I remember the days people were hunting like Grimsmos and Rasks. Those were like more hard to find, and things like that.
Right.
You just wait for the right person and the right price, and you can't be cheap, but you don't have to like drop your pants either. You can wait and see. And the more feelers you get, the more of an average you get, the more you kind of see where you think you want to pay for something like that. Dirk and I were just talking about how the Shark Nevco knives, how much they've gone up in price and how that last auction went. How much?
It's like 20 grand for a Tony Stark Iron Man themed Waka.
Wow.
And you can't use the problem is somebody next week will think that their standard Waka is worth 10 grand because this fancy one sold for 20. No, it didn't sell for 20. I mean, it did sell for 20, but it auctioned for 20. There is a difference between an auction price and a sell price. And I don't think a lot of people really grasp that concept when they have a regular knife. Like, well, hey, this flashlight I saw sold on auction for 20 grand, so mine must be worth. No, auctions are emotional. The fear of missing out, that FOMO is real, and people bid because they have this emotional thing. Don't think that your thing is worth that because an auction said it was, because it's not.
That's totally true. And there's a lot of that, and
100%. Yeah. Auctions generally aren't good values. They're not.
They are not. No,
they go for inflated prices, and then the maker's happy because they made their money. And I'm not busting on the maker for doing an auction, whether it's Sharknifco or any other maker that does that, because they all do it. Most. I haven't seen Luck do it yet, but okay. But then it makes the person who bought it also kind of say, oh, look at me. I spent 20 grand on that auction. I got it. You didn't. Yeah, no, that's not for me. I have never participated in an auction, nor do I plan on. I don't even really jump into lottos because I generally never win the lotto, so I just don't. Kathleen Smith, hello. She's been a pretty good follower of my channel lately, commenting, watching. So I noticed these things. It's kind of newer around my channel, I think, but that's, welcome. Up here is a comment from Bangkok Mark. He's purchased many watches online through Chrono24. It's a great website to go and get, like, what is the going price on a Rolex, Omega, Tissot, the Grand Seiko. Like, they've got everything. Casio stuff. Like, it's got everything. Diligence is important, but they also hold the money until you verify that you got the delivery from the other person and that you're satisfied with the product, which I think is super cool. It's kind of like an escrow. Like, your money goes into escrow so that if you never get it and you prove that it never came, you can get your money back. Or if it came and it was an empty box or it was not as described, that website is going to back the buyer. And he thinks that Blade Binge does this too. I've never heard of Blade Binge, so I can't say.
Yeah. Well, usually, like, if it's going to be a fat purchase, like a custom, that I won't, like, do what I did.
Oh, yeah. It's a little different story.
That's big money, right? Like $700, and $700 is probably big money to a lot of people, and it is to me too. Don't get me wrong, but like, I was buying a production knife. I wasn't, buying like this $2,000-$3,000 custom knife. At that point, like, I'm taking every precaution that I can, and buying custom knives. I've come to the conclusion that, because I've done that transaction too, I won't buy any custom knife from somebody I don't have some sort of direct connection to. I just don't. Like, it has to be somebody that they know somebody that I know.
Yeah, so then, great.
Some references of some sorts, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just won't. Otherwise, like, I'll just go and, like, shop for something else. Too big of a risk.
Bangkok Mark says that he got caught up in an auction last minute bid frenzy on eBay for a motorcycle years ago. He was already $1,000 over his max price that he had set for himself, and thank goodness at a last second bid topped mine. That was my last auction, which made me think of, I did get involved in one auction for the Todd Fisher Sr. prototype battle. I won the auction by mistake. I was hoping there was like an hour or two left, so I just bumped up the bid a little bit, hoping somebody else would outbid me, and nobody else bid. So, oops. I mean, I was one of the first bids just to kind of get it going, and I figured, this thing's going to go for way more, but I'll just goose it a little bit. And sure enough, I won, and it's sitting in the drawer back here, which I'm not upset about. It still went for less than everybody thought, so I got a screaming deal. But yeah, yeah, wasn't my intent. I didn't really want to spend the thousands of dollars for that at that moment, but I'm glad I did. It's kind of fostered even a greater relationship with Todd and I, so it was worth it.
Very cool.
So yeah, some other ways to not get scammed. One, go with your gut. And I did a video recently about scamming. I don't know, sometime back, I've done a video on ways to try to avoid being scammed. So you guys can go check that out if you like. But a lot of it is go with your gut.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the hairs on the back of our neck, the intuition, this gut feeling. Don't discount that. Take that to heart.
Yep, absolutely. And if you think you've done enough digging, do more.
Yeah, I mean, check the Facebook groups, ask people for references, especially if you're buying from just a person, not a company. It is a little bit tougher when it's a company, because that just adds another layer. But if you're just buying from a person, reach out to me, reach out to Alex, say, hey, do you know this guy, Billy Bob? And we might know. I don't know if you trust us, but I think people do. So, it might be somebody, if you have a friend who's a bigger collector or something, maybe they know that person. So do ask around to your friends, whether they're on Facebook or Instagram or not. Wherever you found the knife, I'm sure there's some people that may or may not know the person.
Yeah, there's that EDC go, no go, or how's that?
Yeah, deal or no deal.
Or deal or no deal.
Yep.
That's a great place too, actually. And the second guy that I actually bought my knife from, that was one of the main factors that really made me feel comfortable with making that transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Was he was actually on there a few times. And that's one of those more snobby, more hardcore guys about transactions and stuff, so if you see it there, usually you're pretty good.
I'm looking for a comment here. Here it is from Mike F. He says, I had 3 different people that used the same picture of his friend's knife, holding it in his hand, holding it with the wedding ring and everything. So a lot of times what they're going to do is they're just going to grab a picture from Instagram or Facebook of the knife that they're going to try to sell you. They don't even have it in their possession. They don't even own it. And Mike said he saw 3 different people trying to sell him a knife of his buddy's hand and ring. So ask them to take a picture with a Post-it and your name written on it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I had the same knife in pictures from 2 different people, remember?
Yep.
Yeah. And they were different pictures too. They weren't the same pictures. They were the same knife. And then I had one guy.
Thanks, Mike.
Same knife in 3 pictures, different knife in a video.
Mm-hmm.
There was that guy too. And then, and that's what, yeah. God.
These guys, scamming works.
Yeah.
If it didn't work and they didn't get paid over and over and over and over, they wouldn't do it.
Yep.
These scamming farms that get the little old ladies that have the Microsoft, hey, your computer's infected, call this 800 number and we'll help you. Don't call those 800 numbers. It's some scammer thing, and then they're just going to have you log in, pay them $50 to clean it up, and somehow, some way, they're going to change that $50 into $5,000 or $50,000 out of your bank.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all seen that movie Beekeeper? Jason Statham?
I haven't seen that yet.
just came out.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's all about a scamming form. So and it's in true Jason Statham form. Like, it's fantastic. Predictable, you get it, but so entertaining. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, that looked pretty entertaining.
They can edit those timestamp pics as well. It just happened to a guy in a group I'm in. They can.
That's
for
less
sure,
likely, though.
But that happens, but it's just, again, one more layer of something to ask. You can also ask, and I talk about it in my video, is ask the dude to do a FaceTime.
Yeah.
Ask to call him on the phone. If he's really wanting to sell this knife, and as the price goes up, like if somebody were to want to buy a knife that I own, let's say I have a $5,000 knife and I'm trying to sell it for $5,000 and they want to talk to me on the phone, sure, here's my number. Call me. Oh, you want a FaceTime? Like Deadlock says, FaceTime? Yeah. You want FaceTime? Sure, no problem. I would, in a heartbeat, I would FaceTime for $5,000. I would FaceTime really for $150. If it made you feel better, I would FaceTime for a $150 knife that I'm selling. If it made the buyer comfortable, I had no problem with that. I don't think I've seen Dirk as enthusiastic about a knife as much as he is about Jason Statham. Hey, I like that guy. What can I say? I've seen probably all of his movies. Love the guy. I think that movie, The Beekeeper, was great. I got to go see it by myself because my girlfriend was gone. The power was out at my house a couple of weeks ago. So instead, I figured I'll go to the movies. And by the time I get back, the power should be on. It wasn't. So then I did have to bust out the generator and fire that up for another 4 hours or something. But okay, somebody up here talked about Blade Binge. Let's see what that is. Space Ghost. I love your avatar and the Space Ghost. That's awesome, by the way. It's the owner of Blade Binge nav sale that answered the customer service emails. And even at 10 p.m. on a Friday night, he's personally contacted the seller to confirm the info, etc. Yeah, it's cool. It's like me. I'm pretty good about keeping in contact with people I'm buying and selling from, probably to the point where they get irritated. And I actually talk about that in a video that comes out tomorrow about shipping and using a Apple AirTag. So if you're interested in that, check out tomorrow's video. Shameless little plug there.
That's interesting.
Mike says, I did actually have a Yahoo stick a Post-it note to a computer screen and then send the pic, which didn't work. Yeah, you can't you have to put the Post-it not next to a digital picture that you pulled off the internet and yeah. It's people. I just come on. God, I hate people.
Some people.
What if you don't have an AirTag? Well, you can watch my video and find out why you might want one. I actually put a link in the video if you want to go buy one. They're $25 or so on Amazon right now. 24. I think I was confused in the video. I was talking about their $19.99 or $29.99. They're on Amazon for $24.99. You can buy them at the Apple store for about the same price as well, whatever you want to do. But yeah, check out the video. It might be interesting. Might be worth it. Yeah, we did a test with it. So my buddy Joseph sent me a box, and there was an AirTag in it. And because I have an iPhone and he has an iPhone, obviously since he has AirTag, he was able to share the location with me so I could track it along the way. So
pretty cool.
It has some limits. It's got some good stuff. Luck. No, dude, luck. All right. Dude. Okay. First off, Luck, your answer is you need to switch to an iPhone. That's just the first thing. But yeah, there is other things that do tracking like that. Tile is one. And I think Tile's
like the original, isn't it?
Like, yeah. And it's agnostic. It doesn't care if it's an iPhone or an Android device with the tile. But I don't know if there's a specific thing for Android, like an Apple AirTag. I don't know if there's a specific thing for Android because I don't really care. With an Apple AirTag, you can only share it with another iPhone. Sending all my knives to Atlanta for Blade Show rather than flying with them. Yeah, so what I would do, Luck, honestly, is I would just overnight your knives to somebody for Blade Show Atlanta rather than put a plane, I think. I don't know. I mean, it's equally dangerous with the baggage handler or UPS overnight. Like, so when we shipped the King Battle, which is a very expensive knife, we'll leave it at that. We did FedEx overnight early delivery. I had it by 10 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, when I get up over $5,000-ish, I usually do UPS overnight or FedEx overnight.
What was the fee for that?
I don't remember. Tristan paid for that. It was included in my purchase price. But I think it was like $100. I've shipped stuff overnight, like roughly the similar thing with UPS overnight early delivery. And it's been like 80, between $70 and $100. So yeah, I mean, Space Ghost says, hey, an Apple AirTag is better than no AirTag. Yeah, tile, same thing, Dennis. I have never used the tile, so I can't say it's the same thing. But somebody actually bought a knife. Paul Mills says, I bought a black Damascus inlaid FSDI, and I got lost or stolen in transit. I wish we would have used an AirTag. Yeah, so the thing with the AirTag is then you know where it went. Right? Like, and I kind of explain more because it's not a GPS device. You guys still, I'm going to tell you a little bit, but you still got to watch the video tomorrow. Come on. Don't make me give it to you all now. But it's not a GPS device. It pings off of every other iOS device, right? So as it's driving down the street, as you're walking with the box in the post office and you're walking past the guy with an iPhone, it's pinging. And then it's going to the iOS network so that you can then track it. If it's in a plane and whatnot, they're not pinging, so you may not see it in the transit and things like that. If it's just sitting out in an airplane on the tarmac waiting to take off and waiting for all the other packages to get loaded and the plane takes off this evening and it's just sitting out there idle, it may not respond for a while because there's no phones around it for it to ping off of.
That's cool.
Peter, sending one knife is okay, but what if you are sending multiple knives? Just asking the stupid question here. So I send and receive multiple knives all the time. And oftentimes it may be a box with a lot of money and worth of knives in it. 5 or 6 full-on customs, 20-ish thousands of dollars, right? And yeah, again, I do the same thing. It's UPS or FedEx overnight early AM delivery. That's the shipping thing. Speed is your friend.
Yep, that's what me and Dirk always say. It's speed over any sort of insurance or anything else.
The less time they have their hands on it.
Yep.
Because the overnight packages are treated a little differently because they've got to get it there tomorrow. So they are fast-tracked through the system and they have less hands involved and they make it there. I'm not big on insurance. I typically don't insure because you're not going to get your insurance money back from the post office anyway because you're not supposed to ship knives. So they don't cover it. So save your money.
Yep, that's true.
Space Ghost, they make GPS trackers for motorcycles. The buy-in is like $250 for the little sensor thing, then a monthly charge. They work super well. That could be an option as well, because the AirTag is not a GPS thing. It's a Bluetooth device that pings off of the iOS network. But watch my video. You'll get all the details.
Does it have a battery?
It does. It has like a little button battery, like a CR2023 or something like that.
Right.
They're cool. Like, I think I have it right over here. Hold on. Where did I set it? Oh, right here. It does not come with the carbon fiber thing. That's an aftermarket, just a way for him to hold it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of beeping, you can hear. Mm-hmm. Because it was just sitting idle, so it started moving. And because it's not mine, there's some things. And it's just white on the back. This just pops out, and then you can put it in the zipper pouch with your knife. You can put it in the Pelican case. You can just put it in the box. They make a million different little holder things. A lot of people use them for their luggage when they're flying. Mm-hmm. So that you know that, hey, my luggage got on my plane. I'm sitting on my plane and I can see that it's on my plane, so I feel good. And if it gets directed at the airport and it ends up in Cleveland, you at least know that when you land in Arizona that it's in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So I think they're $25. It's not bad.
I think it's kind of cool.
Bad. EDC for Fun says, I recently started using AirTags for my keys, my luggage, and his dog. I have seen dogs with them before on their collars.
Why not?
Genius idea. And you can buy like a pack of 4 of them and they give you like a discount. Like, it's like 4 for $75 or something like that. But how often are you losing your keys, though, EDC, that you had to put an AirTag on them? That's my question.
At that point, better to get like a clip for your belt loop or something like that.
Hey, you might want to get like one of those biker chains.
Yeah. Or even one of those like extendo
like things like the janitor in school.
Yeah. Yes.
Peter says it's sad that the USPS insurance is pretty much useless. Haven't had any issues up till now, knock on wood, but the peace of mind is non-existent if insurance literally does nothing. Now, I use for shipping pirateship.com. I can highly recommend them, and I get nothing out of it. There's no affiliate there, and there's nothing. No discount codes or any BS. Pirateship.com. Professor EDC turned me on to them the first time I was shipping to him in Mexico. It's cheaper for UPS and cheaper for USPS. My understanding is that they insure up to $5,000 in value, I think, and they pay out. They don't even care what it is that you shipped. That's what I've been told. I've never used it, so I can't say for sure. But some other people have told me that they have used the pirate ship insurance and they've gotten their money back right away, no problem.
That's interesting.
Okay, so this makes me feel better. He says, Dennis, EDC for Fun says, I never lose my keys, but I had an extra AirTag and a cool little leather holder, so I figured why not? Okay, that's cool. So, and how have you liked them, using them on your dog and things like that, since you're actively using them? Detroit Spartan in the house. Well, if you can't be on time, man, just show up when you can. It's all good.
What's up, Detroit?
Speaking of Detroit, I think I'm going out there in April. Somebody's having a birthday.
Nice.
Throwing a little shindig, I hear. So, yeah. The birthday's actually in March. The party's going to be in April. So, yeah, we'll go. I'm coming for sure. Lindsay was planning to come. That maybe not. There's like the prom is that weekend for her daughter. And I don't know now. There might be a timing thing, but we'll see. So EDC for Fun says it's great. The AirTags are great, and he highly recommends them. Cool. There is some anti-stalking stuff in them too, so you can't just pick one up, stick it in a magnet underneath Alex's car, and track him everywhere he goes. His phone will alert and say that there is a unknown AirTag tracking you, or so. It comes up with some alert thing for that reason. So there is an anti-stalking thing built into them, and it beeps.
Yeah, I had a customer at work that asked me like how much it would cost to take her fender off on her car to see if there's an Apple tag in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you can take the beeper thing out, and it won't make any noise anymore, which, depending on your application, is totally legal to do that. But it still will pop up on the person's phone. If you were to magnet under their car, it would still pop up on their phone.
Wait. It beeps, right?
It does beep.
And you put one of these things in a package?
Yep. It's so quiet, though. It's not going to beep like
they didn't think it was a bomb?
I don't think that. No. People have shipped with them a lot, actually. CPM, my friend, how are you, sir?
Beep, beep,
so it doesn't beep, beep, beep forever. It kind of chimes 3 times, and then that's it, thing. And only so often. But if it does pop up on your phone that, hey, there's an unidentified AirTag with you, you can then, on your phone, click play the noise so that you can find it in your car. If we're using the car stalking type thing.
Well, that's what we ended up doing, is using one of my buddies' newer iPhones. Although now I have the 15 Pro, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's what we told that lady. I'm trying to I guess you got to push a button, and then it has a little blue something or whatever when you get near it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yep.
And frightening.
Yeah. Deadlock says it's been a problem here in California tracking people leaving from the banks. Yeah, that's a thing now.
So that actually is exactly what happened to one of my coworkers. One of my valets, one of the kids that parks the cars and stuff.
Yeah.
He went on payday, went to the bank, got followed home. They beat the crap out of him and took his rent money and took off. And that is a thing, I guess even in South Bay, they were kind of doing that stuff.
That happens all across the country right now. So you had to be cautious. That gets into a whole different video topic, but be aware of your surroundings, be cautious. I do go to the bank still. The bank I use is inside the grocery store, so I go when I get groceries, and I do like to pull out some cash. Most of the time, I never carry it. I save some cash that way, whatever. But I like to have a little bit of cash. But yeah, you got to be careful. The follow home robbery things from the bank is a huge thing, and it sucks.
And it can happen anywhere, no matter how nice of a neighborhood you live in. Because where that happened, that was a nice area. And then we have up in Palos Verdes Estate, which is not too far from my work. I have a lot of clientele from up there, and a lot of them, especially during the holidays, are having a huge epidemic of home invasions. So, and that's a rich area. You know, it can happen absolutely anywhere. So never have a false sense of security.
Nope. It happens everywhere, in every neighborhood, in every state. Everybody talks crap about California, and I get it. I live in California, born and raised here, so I can talk crap too. But it happens in Texas. It happens in New York. It happens in Vermont, in Maine. It doesn't matter. It happens. Paul Mills, does Android make something similar to an AirTag? I don't know that. I don't know if they have their own thing or not. I know there is another option. It's a tile. And I think there's another option too somewhere that I heard of, but I can't remember the name. But there are things. And I think there is an app for Android for the Apple AirTag, but it doesn't do if I'm remembering correctly what somebody told me, is it doesn't do live updating. You have to open the app, basically hit track, and then it will track the AirTag that you're trying to track and tell you where it is right then. So there's more of a process to it, but there is a way on an Android phone to track an Apple AirTag. From what I understand, my answer would just be to get rid of that Android phone and go with an iPhone, but that's just me. Let's see. LA is LA is kind of bad. I spent 5 years down in the Southland area, and Mark used to have a condo at 8th and Grand in downtown. It's a ghetto now. Why I retired out of the country. Who place is a mess now. Yeah. I did a bunch of work downtown LA. Down on Grand Avenue. Yep. Federal Reserve Bank of Los Angeles branch is down there. I did a bunch of work there for years. Yeah, it's California, man. Yeah, Mark's an interesting guy. He retired to Bangkok. Like, yeah, that's just so cool. That's really cool. It says the guy who's never been out of the country, so I don't really know for sure. But I can't even bring myself to go visit another country on vacation. I certainly can't think about moving to another country. That's scary stuff, man. I don't know how to speak anything but English. And I don't even speak English that great. Gone Fisher says, how's Bangkok, Mark? Maybe Mark can give us a quick little, how does he like living in Bangkok? Him and his wife retired there, if I remember, him and I talked a couple of years ago. Don't remember exactly, but...
Well, living there and retiring there is two different things.
Two different things. Dennis.
Look at Peter C. says a lot of she-males.
Yeah. I'm surprised to hear you've never left.
There's a lot of everything in Thailand. A lot of everything.
Yeah, EDC for fun. I have never left the country. I mean, I have left once. I was doing some work in Nogales, New Mexico, or Nogales, Arizona. I don't remember. I think it was Nogales, Arizona. I don't know. Anyway, in Nogales, in the United States, and then we walked. It was a border town. We walked across into Nogales, Mexico, for lunch and walked back. This was pre 9/11, like way early. The Border Patrol people there didn't even need to see my ID. They're like, dude, like, you're white enough. We know. Just come on through. Like, they didn't even glance at me. I didn't have to slow down coming across. Nothing. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So Bangkok Mark says, I actually live in Phuket. Is it Phuket or Phuket?
It's Phuket.
Phuket now. Built a house near the beach. Retired at 54. Well, damn it. What have I been doing with my life? Because next month, I will be 55. And I am not anywhere near financially ready or able to retire. Damn it. Maybe if I went to Phuket, where the American dollar is probably like, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm not ready to retire. But good on you, Mark. They confused me with a local coyote and didn't want any trouble. Maybe. This was back in probably 95, 97, somewhere around that time frame. Even before that, maybe. Yeah, it was probably 95-ish time frame that I was down there across the border. But no, I do have a passport. For work a couple of years ago, about 6 years ago, I had to rush and get a passport because we were going to go to a project in Mumbai, India. So we expedited it, paid a lot of money for an expediter and concierge service and all that. Got my passport in about 12 days. And as soon as I got it back from the Indian consulate in San Francisco with my visa, they canceled the project. So my passport sits in my other room in the safe, waiting for a time to use at some point. Yeah. It'll happen. My girlfriend's aching to go. She wants to go somewhere out of the country. So at some point, I'm going to go. I got to stop by knives and watches. I need you fools to watch more videos and make more money off of YouTube ads. Then maybe I can go out of the country. Have you ever been out of the country, Alex?
I was born out of the country.
You were born out of the country. What am I talking about? That's
but
right.
Not since. No.
Since you came back over to the U.S., you have not left out? And you came when you were, what, 10, 12?
Yeah, about 10 years old.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Don't get scammed. And
sucks.
Try to do your homework as best you can. There's no real answer. There really is not.
There is an answer. One very helpful thing, though, is patience. Don't get the fatigue and be like, I'm going to do it. Just wait. You'll know when the right time is to move. CPM asks, what did I lose? I lost $700 on a Ghostbusters Troodon transaction.
Yep.
But I did end up getting one since you're late to the party.
Yeah, if it came on time, you'd know. But
oh, and all is good.
Yeah. So Bangkok Mark says in Phuket, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath beach house cost him $230,000 for land and construction.
Wow.
Cheap to live if you cook a lot like we do and stay out of the bars. Well, then I'd be in trouble because I can't cook. I can heat up microwaves and hot dogs in a microwave, frozen pizza in the oven, and I can fry an egg. That's about the extent of my cooking. I guess I can heat up some stew on the stove, but yeah, that's about the extent of it. So yeah. Dennis loves traveling the world. I'll reach out, Dennis, find out where you've been and what you've done, because I'm interested. I'm kind of interested. I just, I don't know. I haven't done a lot of vacationing in my life. Been too dedicated.
Yep, me too.
So I have been to Hawaii twice, and when I went to Hawaii the first time, that was the first vacation since 1996.
Well, my wife's family's planning to go to Cambodia next year, so maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Mike is a superb cook with a microwave. I'm not, but oh damn, he just got back from Belize last week.
That's cool.
Wow. Now Belize is a place I'd seen pictures of and thought would be cool. Wow. All right. Oh yeah, luck. Been to a fair number of countries, all expenses paid from the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for doing all of that, Mike, and still continuing to do that, because he is still in the Air Force there. So. Yes, sweet. Detroit holiday. It's going to be a quick down and dirty to, beautiful downtown Detroit. State where I can't even, somebody's going to have to bring me a pistola or something while I'm there. So I may have to borrow something while I'm there, guys. Just, I don't know how I feel about going walking around downtown Detroit. All right, last but not least here, Mark says local dinner will cost you about $1.25 for a plate of pad thai with chicken, shrimp at $0.25.
That's too much.
So I can have dinner for like $1.50 every day. I can deal with that. Yeah. Lord Needham, yeah, you're late, man. But if you can't get here on time, just show up when you can. It's all good. We are just wrapping up, though. But you can go back and watch it on replay, whatever. So, guys, thank you very much. I think we've covered most everything. Yeah, just do some homework and listen to your gut. We got no real answers on the scamming thing. There is no real answer.
No, but it's good food for thought, Just be careful with your money out there.
Yep. Be careful. Reach out to your friends. Try to FaceTime. Try to, I don't know. Just try and remember that outside of like full-on one-off customs, which will still be available later too, any knife is going to be available later.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy that Alex finally got his Ghostbusters from sold it to Alex a day or two after he got it in the mail from buying it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So we buy things that we get and we hold, and we're like, yeah, I don't really like that. I'm going to sell it. Same with custom knives. I sold a bunch of customs to just buy more expensive customs. Don't go by my logic. But yeah, pretty much everything is going to be available again later. So we don't have to have it right this second.
No.
Just to post on Instagram and get some likes, and that may be a whole topic, and we might have EDC for Fun on as a guest again and talk about the whole social media thing and how his life is different.
Probably a lot less complicated.
His life, I'm not gonna say it's better. We're gonna do that. It might not be the next show, but we will have Dennis back on. He's been on before, and we'll have a topic about social media, yay or nay type of a thing. Like, because I'm intrigued. Like, I'm wondering what the hell does Dennis do with his time? That'll be another meeting.
He has EDC for fun. That's what he does.
I guess we'll find out. You guys stay tuned. We will have Dennis on here shortly in the next, month or so, if we can work some time out and get him back on it. We'll talk about how life is without social media, because I think that's a great topic.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good topic and one that I am personally intrigued about. So stay tuned for that. And as always, leave us comments on any topics that you might want to hear about, because I know I'm always looking for just regular video content ideas. Alex is always looking for video content ideas when he has time to make videos. And we're always looking for ideas to have here on the live show to talk about, because Alex and I could just have a conversation all evening by ourselves, but we want to talk about whatever you guys want to hear about. So yeah, always leave us comments, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. Dennis, you know my cell number. You can just text me. And you guys that don't have my cell phone number, my email is in every video on my channel. So just hit me up on email for you non-social media guys. And I think that's it. Rambled enough. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and have a good week next week as we roll back into the weekend, into the work week.
We'll see you guys all in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.